All right, good morning everyone. It's December 15th of 2023 and the market has just been on fire to the upside. And you can definitely see that action here if you pull it back and you look at the four ETFs that we look at. And you definitely can see that in November here, once we got this crossover of the 2-day moving average over the 10, we haven't looked back. As a matter of fact, you could almost say that we're on cruise control right now and just running to the previous highs for the year in the SPXL, TQQQ, and UDOW. The only lagging one here is TNA. And so if you're going to take a play, you're more than likely, hopefully, looking at this TNA in order to go long. And this is the one that we have been focusing on the most within the Discord server because it still has a lot of room to run. And when I say that, if we look at TNA here, and we look at this at a 1-year chart, you can see how these key areas right here have been hit. And these are the areas of interest, is what I call them when I'm teaching this to people. And when you've hit these key areas of interest, you've got to look at how price reacts within that area. And so for instance here, you can see that we blew right through this, right? And then we gapped up even more. And now today it looks like we're going to possibly try to gap up again. And so this now is your next area of interest right here, but we've got to hold this 36.87 within TNA. And so ideally, because we've had such a strong move, we really want this thing to kind of calm down and just rest. And what I mean by that is that we know that price moves a certain way, and now we want price to kind of sit in this area right here and consolidate. It's been sprinting really hard ever since here, and we've been in a straight uptrend, and I think a lot of that is due to people missing out on the move, and then now you have the people who are chasing, and now the fear of missing out is real for some of these people. But we just take our trades as they come in, and we know when we started to consolidate here, we were waiting for something to happen. Now we didn't know we were going to get this move up or down, so we just had to wait for the reaction here to give us a general direction of where we wanted to go. And that's what you're starting to see within the market here on this 1-year chart, is that we're consolidating and then we break out and then we just sprint. And if you pull this back even on a 2-year chart, let's just get rid of all the noise here, you definitely can see where these areas are, right? We knocked out this one, and now it looks like we want to come back up to this 41.65. So the real question is, are we going to sit down here and consolidate and then try to go up to 41.65? Or are we going to get to the point where we get so exhausted that we'll come back and test this 33 area before trying to make a move up? And that's basically how price moves within the market, is that you have these boxes that form, and then we make a decision and then we either move up or down. Now with that said, let's just look at some of these charts here on a 2-year daily, and we can see how a lot of them, like Apple, look at Apple, it ran right the previous high for the year. And let's just go down through the list here. Amazon, we went up, we're consolidating, we're resting. We tried to go higher yesterday, and then we kind of pulled back a little bit. I still think Amazon is good to this 158 if the market cooperates. Otherwise, we could come back down here and test this 142.77. Bros, same thing. We've moved up, consolidating, and now we're trying to move back up to this 31.54. Kava, this is another one that was brought to my attention the other day, and within the server, Discord server, one of the guys pointed out this thing's breaking out at 37.69. I took this trade, and then traded it up here, and then I'm always paying myself. And as we get moves higher, I will take that money into strength, and I'll just look to get back in and out of this trade a lot. Because if we hold this 37.69, we definitely could run back up to this 46.02. And what's interesting about this is that, you know, in the Discord server we talk a lot. And we're always looking at possibilities within the market. And one of them that came up the other day was Rocket. Because before this huge move, Rocket was trading around $8. And then once the market started to get some legs underneath it, look at how it came back up here, consolidated at this 839 area, took out the next target of 935, and then ran the 1086, and then to 1191, and then look, 1333. And it blew the minds of a lot of people because this all happened since November. And I told them, I said, what happens if we run here to 1502? And of course I got crickets as far as, oh, that can't happen. And I said, just like this can happen over here, the 1333. You have to understand that these areas of interest right here are real. And they will move price to these areas quickly when the market is favorable, and down to the other areas here when it's unfavorable. And that is, that's just how price moves. It just consolidates and then it moves one way or another. Let's take a look at Chewy. We can see how Chewy came down here. And we're trying to hold this 17 area. And we tried to go higher and they pulled it right back. Cliff looks pretty good here. We got a nice run up. We consolidated, we rested, and now we're trying to move up to 1983. Clorox is trying to hold this area. Copart, same thing, nice run up, got the pullback, and now the question is, do we move back up to the 51.53 or do we come back to 47.02? Carvana, this is actually one that someone in the group mentioned. We've been in Carvana a few times. I remember us talking about it here when it was at 10, and we didn't think it could get up to here, and look at that, it did, right? That was the previous high. And this is a trade that was, like I said, we talked about it in the group, and I told them because of the high short interest in this thing that it could get going back up into here. And so when this move happened, I wasn't too shocked by it because I've seen this before. But a lot of the members in the group could not believe that this could happen so fast. And that is why when a stock is highly shorted, you need to be careful. But what I like about Carvana, getting back to where we are now, is that you can see that we had this run to previous high, we pulled back, and then we consolidated through here, and then moved up, consolidated, and now we're exploding back up to this 57 area. I would like to see it sit right here at this $46 area. Dropbox. Let's take a look at Dropbox breaking out. DD could run to 77. Datadog. Look at how they brought Datadog all the way back right here to 120. Next level, if the market cooperates, 125 and then 131. But definitely keep an open mind. And if this thing comes back to 112, you've got to be willing to trade it back down too. And that's something that we teach in the course as well, and that is you got to keep an open mind. Disney's running, trying to hold this area. It got too low down here, and then it just took off. DraftKings, love how DraftKings is holding this 34.49 area. This is a nasty candle. This got my attention yesterday, so I want to see what happens here with DraftKings. Is this going to be a failed breakout and we come back down? Or was this just to shake out the weak hand so that we can move up? We'll find out. Gold ran right to target here. Right there. Next target, if you can get going, is this gap fill right here. And then if it really gets going, yes, it could get back into this 2065 area. Goodyear Tire, nice consolidation, and we finally broke out of here in the last 2 days. This was a trade that I took at 1374. Once it held, buyers stepped in, so I jumped in and then ended up taking the money here at 1477. Now the nice thing is that if it holds this 1477 area, you can always look to get back in and trade this back up to the gap fill. H&R Block, you can see, took out this 47.30 area, and now we're trying to run to the next target, the 48.76. Levi, same thing, tried to go higher. Next target, 16.64. LVS holding this 44.62 area and trying to get back up to the 50.42. And MGM, nice breakout here at 41.33. Again, someone in the group mentioned this one to me. I sold a put in this one. I already took my money. Selling the put in this type of market is excellent. If you'd like to learn more about how to do that, come and visit the Discord server. Marvel was a great trade. We hit target, and then we hit the second target here. Had a member take this to the gap fill and then up. So good trade. Net, same thing. You can see how we ran here to previous high, and now we're trying to break out. Look at this range right here, guys. Look at all the room to run in here. Yeah, keep an eye on that. Nvidia ran to previous high. We knocked out everyone here to the left of the chart. Now we're pulling back, and now we need to see if we can go higher. I would like to see this thing chop sideways and hold this 450 area for a while before we try to go back up to 500 or back to 391. PBR is a play that we got into yesterday because it held this area right here, and now it looks like it could get back up to this 1558 area or even possibly back up to 1655. We actually took some option contracts in this. And again, options are something that if you want to learn how to trade it, join us in the Discord server. More than willing to teach. PLTR is still holding this $17 area right here. Could get back up to 2029 or 2181, but again, it also could go down to 1447. Shop took out the previous high here. We're chopping sideways, and look at that, right back up to 78. Love to see this thing hit 78 and sit down right here in the 71 area, and then try to go higher above this 78 and then run to 88, 84. SoFi is one that consolidated for a while, and then once the Fed spoke, this thing took off like a missile, and it just blew everyone out of the water who was short right here, here, or here. I want to see this thing hold the 919 area here and then run right to 1169. Very good trade for those who caught it. AT&T is trying to hold this 1623 area. I bought a couple of option contracts on this because I'd like to try to trade this back up to 1733 or higher. We got a gap up here, and I know that looks like a very far long distance away, but we don't know what's going to happen. It could run to 17th, or it could go back to 1559. You got to keep an open mind. Can't say that enough. Trip trying to get back up to this $20 area. Tesla, beautiful consolidation, and then buyers showed up here the last 2 days, and we are trying to gap up again. And your next area of interest on this is the 257 area or 268. And something else you'll learn within the Discord server is how to take this trade intraday on bigger time frames, of course, and feel comfortable with it. I think that's the one thing that a lot of the people have learned, and that is how to be comfortable in a trade. And if you are the trader out there who is uncomfortable, you need to find out how to sit and be comfortable in that trade. Wayfair, you can see Wayfair consolidated. We broke out yesterday, and now it could get back up to this 74 or even to this $90 area. Walgreens Boot Alliance, we got into this one down here. This is what we call a condo play, where it got too low, and our little phrase is too low, now it's time to go. And so we bought this down here. I still have shares in this, and this has just been a beautiful trade back up to 25.82. And we have earnings coming right here on the 4th. If things are favorable. It could get back up to this 31.36, but I just like how this thing has been moving lower, and now we're trying to reverse. Doesn't mean it'll work. It just means that there's a possibility that it could happen. Walmart is actually trying to hold this 149.70 area right here. I want to see this thing just kind of rest right here before trying to go back up to 158 or 169. And once I get confirmation that it's ready to do so, I will sell a put here for a $42 premium. Otherwise, I will just wait patiently. XLC, you can see the price action here. We ran, we rested, now we're trying to run back up to this 71.79. XLE, same thing, we got too low here, and now we're trying to bounce. ZOM, holding this area right here. I actually went long on this one. I got stopped out right here only to watch this thing reverse. It happens. It happens. But now that I know that it's still trying to bounce here, I will look to get back in. You can always get back in. And then last but not least is XOP right here. And you can see how this one put in a new low as well through here. And now price is trying to reverse. That is it. Keep it simple. Trade these 4 ETFs over and over again. This is what I teach in the Discord. Trade these 4. Learn how to trade these 4 if you're self-directing your retirement account, and go from there. Thanks for joining. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please, by all means, give me a thumbs up. Join the channel, join the Discord server, and until then, take care.